How's it going, guys? My name is Chris, and welcome to my Kerbal Space Program Mission to Duna series. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be doing in this episode is launching up another fuel tank because the other one ran out of fuel in the last episode that I did with all the components that I had to send up. It takes a lot of fuel to do this mission, so we had to send up another one, and I just sped up this clip a ton because you've already pretty much seen this before in one of the earlier episodes. Now, before I say anything else, I'm going to have to apologize because I ended up losing some footage after this clip here of me burning into solar orbit. I basically am just going to explain what I did quick. So I had the ferry part push me out of Kerbal orbit and into a solar orbit. I may have slingshotted off the moon, I don't remember. I might have done that just to save some fuel. But now we're here, and basically what this ship is the command module and the landing pod that I launched in the last episode, but now they're flipped. I undocked the bottom part there that you can see on the screen right now, and that was originally on the top. It's just oriented weird, and I put that onto the front of the ship so that way this can propel it without having any issues with those four thrusters at the bottom there. So that's why that's like that. Now we're gonna start to set up our burns. We're pretty much gonna do this the same way that we set up our encounters with the refueling station. We're gonna warp to one of the edges so that way we can fix the orientation of our orbit so that way it's nice and flat and on par with Duna's orbit. Then we're going to go ahead and speed ourselves up so we can catch it when it comes around, so that way we can get into an encounter with it and slow ourselves down so that way we can end up in an orbit around Duna. Right now I'm having the autopilot go ahead and set up the node for us so that way we know exactly when to burn and how much to burn for, and that's going to go ahead and set us up for our encounter. We are going to start time warping now. And I don't really know what happened here. There was some sort of glitch where the lines on the map just disappeared. I ended up restarting, I think, at some point after this clip to get those lines back. But as soon as we get all the way around there, it takes a couple days, more than that, but it takes a long time. But now we're there, and we are going to go ahead and stop time warping and start this extremely long and tedious, I think, 6-minute burn or so. I had to use, well, I didn't have to, but I wanted to use RCS to help with this burn at some points. That way I could relieve the strain on the rockets a little bit, so there was a little bit more fuel to go around on the return trip. I'm pretty sure I also used RCS, or what was left of it, on the return, but you guys will see that later. Since this burn was incredibly long, I'm going to go ahead and jump cut through it, so now we're almost done, and we are finished. And now I'm going to go ahead and just make some adjustments with exactly where my periaps, I think it is. Yeah, where my periaps is to Duna, so that way I can be as close as possible without actually crashing into anything or going into the atmosphere. That way I was going to try and set up an aero brake, or at the very least use less fuel to get into an orbit, because you wouldn't want to be like 1,000,000 meters away or whatever it is, because that would be very, very, very draining on your fuel tanks, and that's not something you want when you have limited fuel. Once I had the initial encounter set up, I just used RCS to do the remaining tweaking with my distance, because I didn't want to use fuel, first of all, and second of all, it would have been too powerful, and the fact that RCS can burn either way, I didn't have to spin around every single time I used it. Now we're just going to time warp over to our final destination, where we will end this episode shortly, being extremely close to our target. At this point in the mission, I was really excited and nervous because I had done this several times before with other failed models of this ship, and I didn't want it to fail again after doing all this work and recording all these different clips for you guys, and especially since they take up a lot of space on my computer. This series overall has enough footage to easily surpass 100 gigabytes. But here we go, and we have an encounter now. Almost, not quite. There we go. Now we have the encounter, and very shortly you guys will catch your first glimpse, as well as mine at this time, of Duna and its moon Ike. Here we go, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, and here it is. There's Ike and Duna off in the distance, way out far away. We're almost there. But that pretty much wraps up this video, guys. If you liked it, make sure to leave a like and a comment down below, and always make sure you subscribe if you haven't already for more content like this and other cool stuff. Thanks again for watching, guys. This is Chris, signing off.